Howdy, Beefalo Bart here. Welcome back. Okay, so in part 2, we're going to go ahead and start setting up the weapons. The fun stuff. Now, first off, I want to go ahead and go to the character. And if we look on our character, he has no weapon whatsoever. And we want to start off by adding one to the player's holster. Okay, so simple enough. Let's go to the character blueprint. Look at the viewport and select the mesh. Next thing we're going to do is go to our mesh. We need to go to the skeleton tree and we need a pistol in the holster, and since we're here, might as well go ahead and set up the one. Well, we can't really set up the one for the main hand just yet because we don't have the animations in, and we'll probably do that in part 3. So let's just start off with the holster. And we're going to go with thigh R. And going to go ahead and right click on the thigh underscore R. Add a socket. And then select it. Hit F2. And we're going to call this holster. Going to have to remember the name. So right click. Add preview asset. And in this case, SWAT. We're going to use the SWAT pistol. And then we're going to kind of zoom in a little bit and move it around. Just want to get it to where we can rotate it and put it directly in the holster. Nice and close. And that should be pretty good. Go ahead and hit save, and let's close the skeleton. Now, I'm going to go to the Polygon Heist folder, go to Meshes, Weapons Rigged, because we want to use the skeletal mesh. Select the skeletal mesh for the pistol, go back to our player, add component, skeletal mesh, and we're just going to call this holstered pistol. Then we can go to our parent socket here and select the holster, and we're good to go. Now, should be good to go. Just compile and save. And if we look at our character, we now have a pistol in our holster. Delightful. You see, since it's on our thigh, it moves around with our leg as we're moving around. So that's what we wanted. We're going to start throwing in some base stuff here. Okay, I'm just going to find a clear space to work in. And I'm going to go ahead and create a replicated script for taking the pistol out of the holster and putting it back in. So we're going to do a custom event. The client holster pistol. Even though it's already in the holster, we still want to have one for putting it back in. And we're going to go ahead and make this multicast and reliable. Going to grab a reference to our holstered pistol. And we are going to set visibility to unchecked. Actually, to checked. So we're putting it back into the player. There's going to be some more things added in here later on, but this is going to get us started. And then we're going to do another custom event, and it's going to be called holster pistol. This is going to be multicast, run on server and reliable. Then we're going to switch has authority. Sorry, I still can't say that without having some kind of South Park reference. And then client holster pistol. Okay, and then we're going to do, and there will be more added to this later on, but let's go ahead and get it started anyway. We'll do another custom event, client draw pistol, and again, multicast, reliable, and if you want, you can actually just copy this and paste it, and uncheck visibility on that one. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Custom event. This is going to be draw pistol. And run on server. Reliable. Switch has authority. This is just going to say that we have the authority to be able to do this as the client. And then client draw pistol. So that's all we're doing for right now, is we're doing those. And to be able to test that functionality out, let's go ahead and do keyboard 2, because this will be our secondary weapon. Then we're going to run a flip-flop. And the first thing we're going to do is draw pistol, and then when we hit the number 2 key again, we're going to holster pistol. So if we hit the number 1 key, 2 key, it disappears. We hit it again, it reappears. That's just going to get us set up for the next part when we start doing the animations in the next video. So that's going to get us going. Alright, so now we have that. And I'm not going to worry about other weapons right now. We're just going to start with the pistol, get it going, and then go from there. Alright, so that being that, let's move to the assets folder. Create a new folder called Weapons. Create another new folder called Pickups. And another new folder called Blueprints. Okay, so the pickup items we're not going to use just yet, but the blueprints we will. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a master weapon blueprint. And we're going to do a blueprint class, actor, pistol, master, BP. Now we're going to need a skeletal mesh. Compile and save. So we don't have anything in here. There's no pistol whatsoever. Then let's close our player. Go in here and create child blueprint class. And we're going to call this our SWAT pistol BP. Go into it and select our skeletal mesh. Then we can either do it this way, which can be a little bit faster, and selecting it here, going back in, and then just hitting this arrow, and there's our pistol. That's it. We'll build the functionality for the pistol here shortly. We just wanted a blueprint for it. So now if we go back to our player mesh, characters folder, mesh, polygon. Now we're going to go ahead and add the main hand in here, which is going to be the hand that's holding the pistol. even though we don't have the animation yet. So we want hand R, because we're going to be right-handed. We're going to add socket, select it, hit F2, and call this main hand. And let's go ahead and add a preview asset again of the SWAT pistol. Now we can refine this position later on. We just want to get it there in the hand area. Once we actually get the animations put in here, we'll refine this to where it actually looks correct. We just want it in the hand and have the socket there so we can start spawning it. We'll save that and close the skeleton. Now we can go back to our blueprint for our character, and we have our draw pistol stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. And then we can start doing some more stuff with this. And just because, I'm going to go ahead and move this guy out of the way. We're going to come back to it. We want to start with this right here, the draw pistol. Move you out of the way. So when we're doing our draw pistol, what we're wanting to do is we're hiding the one in our holster. And we want to put a new one in our hand. So what I'm going to do is spawn actor from class. And once we've got that, the class we want is the SWAT pistol. For now, we'll actually create a class where we can actually use more than one pistol later on, but we'll start with this. Yes, I know, you don't like that. You get a reference to our mesh. And we want to get socket transform. And the socket transform will just return value plugin right here. Socket that we want is, we want to go to main hand. Now, to keep from having to put this in every time, you can actually go in here to your variables, and this is actually a name. Main hand, and we'll go ahead and call this a name. Compile. And we'll go ahead and put that in here, main hand. Now, there's another way we can actually do this. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Instead of doing it that way, since we already have it here, we can actually drag off from here and promote to variable and go ahead and give that a name of main hand. And the information is already stored in there. Compile and save, so you can see main hand is already there. So we're going to use it again here in just a second. That's why I said we'll create that again, or use that again. So from the return value, I'm going to go ahead and select attach to component. And the component that we want to do is naturally our mesh. Plug that in here. And our main hand, we'll get that. And plug it into there. And we're going to snap to target on location, rotation, and scale. So that's going to put it in our hand. It's going to draw the pistol. In other words, in this, it's going to hide the one on our holster. It's going to spawn in and then attach it to the new location, which is going to be the main hand. And that'll get us set up to where it's there. Now, this is also going to replicate and show correctly. So let's actually take a look at it So we do it. It's in our hand. Lovely. So now we need to make it disappear whenever we want to undraw our pistol. Okay, so we'll grab our holster pistol, drag it back down here. Yeah, I can get away with that. So our client is what we're going to actually be doing right now, because the server portion is going to be just fine. And another thing we need to do here is, one thing I forgot, let's actually grab this, move it over, drag off from the return value, and promote to variable. And this is going to be called our pistol in hand. And then we'll go ahead and connect that there, there, and there. Should break that. You just want just that only going in there. Alright, so that's going to give us a variable that we can actually use later on, which we're going to use right now. We can get a reference to, let's go ahead and compile and save. Pistol in hand. Now we have a direct reference to that, and now that we're holstering our pistol, we can destroy actor. So we're going to destroy the actor of the pistol itself that's in our hand. And that should be it. So now, come in here and take a look. We have the number 2 key. It's in our hand and not in our holster. The number 2 key, again, it's out of our hand and back in our holster. So there we go. That'll get us started with that. And awesome. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and set up the rest of our blueprints here. Our weapon blueprint and our pickup blueprint, because at some point we might want this to actually drop. So let's go ahead and go to blueprint, actor, SWAT, pistol, PU, so we know that it's a pickup. Go into it. We can actually close our player for now. Go back down to our weapons rigged, find our pistol, go back over here. We're going to add component of skeletal mesh. And actually, I am going to do that a little differently. Sorry. Pick up. We want a master. So let's go ahead and do blueprint class, actor, pistol, master, pickup. And we're going to add a component of a skeletal mesh. Short term. We are going to add in a mesh. Because we need to be able to see what it looks like and how to align things. Let's go ahead and rotate that 90 degrees. So it's lying flat on the ground. It's going to be sticking into the ground ever so slightly. So we want to raise it up at least 2 on the Z transform. Then click off so nothing is selected. We're going to add in a box collision. And just call it our pickup box. Raise it up 30, which will put it on the ground. And we'll go ahead and adjust it. You can adjust your snapping down to 5 if you want, or not at all. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the scale. It's actually 0.25. And move that collision down. 5 is good for now. We can always come back in and adjust it as we need to. So now, what we do is pretty much nothing. We want to make sure that go ahead and clear that, and then compile and save. So there's nothing here. There's just a blank pickup. So when we actually do the functionality for the pickup, we'll actually do it here inside of this blueprint, and then we'll have the pickup for the Glock and then the 1911 separately. Alright, so in our weapons blueprints, we've got our master pistol, and we got our pickup master. And we actually have that. So, pretty simple. This is getting us set up and ready to go to our next step, which will be the next video, which will actually be starting to add some animations. And if you want to go ahead and prepare for that, then what you're going to need to do, and this is something you should do anyway, just to make life easier. If you don't already have it, the animation starter pack, and I have a buttload of different animations and animation packs and assets. So go to the UE4 Marketplace and look for Animation Starter Pack. It is free. And go ahead and add it to just a regular project. I wouldn't say do it to this project, but go ahead and just add it to a generic project. And what I would suggest doing from there is, once you're able to, you take your animations, all the animations. You're not going to need the blend space. Well, bring the blend space if there is one, but you can skip the animation blueprint. Just grab all the different animations and start from one and shift left click or control left click to get them all. Right click and go ahead and go to Asset Actions and Export. Okay, it's going to make a make a spot where you can find them and be able to easily retrieve them. And I've already done that, and it saves me a lot of time from having to add that to my project and then getting what I need out of it and then deleting the extra stuff. So what I've actually done is create those, and I've got a folder on my hard drive that has all those animations already in there, and I'm going to use those animations and go to my character, animations, and since this is going to be a temporary, we're going to have to retarget them over to our Cinti character. I'm going to go ahead and create in my root folder a new folder called temp. This is where I can do imports that I'm going to have to retarget and then throw back away again. So I'm just going to select all those, and I'm going to drag all of them into this folder from there. And I'm going to go ahead and select the skeleton, which is going to be the UE4 mannequin skeleton. And then import all. Since they were from the same skeleton, just in a different pack, this is going to go ahead and give you all of those animations in the format usable for the UE4 mannequin. It's going to take a few minutes to go ahead and do everything. But this will get you ready for the actual next part of the series and the actual next video of starting to work with the animations and getting the actual pistol in hand and look like you're actually holding the pistol. So let it do its thing. Aim space is going to be important later on for setting up your aim space, but we need to as soon as we get all these animations in here, then we're going to have to retarget them, which is not going to take very long, and make sure we put them in the correct folder. I'm just going to go ahead into the animations folder whenever this is done, and I'm going to create a new folder called weapons. Or combat, or something that you know what they're actually going to be called. And I think I just call the folder combat animations or combat, because it's going to be inside the animations folder. We know that it's going to be animations. All right, just about done. But again, this is going to give us all the animations we need for pistols, rifles, shotguns, prone, all kind of stuff. So we'll go back to our animations folder, new folder, combat, and then go back to our temp folder. And let's go ahead and hit save all just to be on the safe side. And select the first one, scroll down, hold down the shift key, left click on the last one. I'm going to go ahead and right click, retarget animation assets, select our polygon, hit change so we can tell it what folder to go to, animations and combat, okay, and retarget. That's going to give us all the animations that we need, and primarily all we need is idle pistol and pistol reload, and we're going to need death animation. We're going to need crouching. We're going to need a few other things too. So now if we look at our combat folder, hit save all, save selected, and there's our animation for reloading our pistol. Very good. So we don't need these guys anymore, so let's go ahead and get rid of them. Delete. And we'll just save on space. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap up this video here, and in the next video we'll go ahead and start tackling some of the animations and getting them configured to our character, so when we draw our pistol we can actually look like we're actually holding our pistol correctly with the correct animation. Now, still seeing these animations here. You have to wait for it to finish doing its thing. Today. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. These we'll go ahead and finish deleting, and we'll get set up and ready to go for the next one. Oh yeah, now you're catching up. What happens when you're doing a bunch of different things at one time? Like recording and uploading and trying to work on a project all at one time. All right. Today. Sometimes it's just a lot easier to close the project and actually go into your file folders and do it that way. Alright guys and gals, thanks for watching, and the next video, like I said, we'll start doing some animation stuff. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.